everybody, and welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone, the live show today. August 30th, 2021.
Hello,
and
everybody.
We have 1 day left until the transfer window closes. So we're expecting a lot of stuff to happen during today's hours, or during today's live especially. Little loan moves, little deals happening here and there. But for the most part, as we all know, well, not as we all know, but for the most part, we know that DiMarzio said today that there will be no incomings, apparently. We'll get more into that when we actually read the news reports. Justin, unfortunately, can't be here today, my co-host. He's stuck in Indianapolis today. So we miss him as always, but I'm sure he'll be in the chat somewhere. I had some technical issues today. The laptop charger kind of sewered and it broke, so my laptop is not in use right now. It's my iPad. So I'm going to be having to read the comments from you guys via the chat on my phone. So I apologize in advance for that. But yeah, let's get all the likes in. Let's get all the subscribes in. If we're at 1,500 now, so that's awesome. Big news for us. Congrats. Congrats to all of you for signing up. Oh my God, I'm already looking at the comments and someone's already trolling. But yeah, we'll have a good show today. I'm excited. So let's get right in it. So first news of the day is no more deals for Juventus, like I just mentioned previously. Probably the club, in agreement with Allegri, is inclined to go on like this without reacting emotional after the Empoli game. And that's from DiMarzio. Obviously, first take on that is that's a little bit worrisome, in my opinion. It's not just the Empoli game. I know I said after the post game, we need to just relax and calm down. But that was I was under the impression there that we would be getting some incomings. We would be getting some players to help for the depth of the squad, because that midfield performance was awful against Empoli. So I was expecting at least a midfielder to come in the next or day. But yeah, it's worrisome news. Obviously, there were links with Icardi, with Witsel, with Pjanic. If we saw it today, Miralem Pjanic had an Instagram post, and it was like his caption was piano, because he's like the pianist, like the guy who plays the piano, and it was in black and white. And then he apparently answered someone who asked if he was coming to Juventus, and he said, "I would like to, but it's going to be hard for me to come." So obviously there's been trouble on the market for Juventus to get anything done. I think if they really tried something, they could get something done. I don't know what their problem is. I don't know what the issue is with them. But again, we'll see, because there's still, I think, so it closes 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And in Italy, it closes at 8 p.m. tomorrow, the window. So we'll see what happens. That's for incomings. For outgoings, England's closes tomorrow night at midnight, their time. So we could still potentially sell some players, but I don't see us doing that. And neither does producer Ale. We talked about that right before we came. Let's get into some comments before. Let's hear your reaction on the potential no incomings and no arrivals in the next day. Hi, everyone. Yeah, Giovanni82 says the market is closed. Yep. Uzman says, ciao. What's up, man? What's up, Uzman? Justin says Indianapolis is tomorrow. Sorry. He's just getting back and too late to join the stream. My bad. Can't keep up with your busy schedule, Justin. Alexander says, hello. Just checking if you had any issues with the hurricane. Stay safe. I'm okay. I didn't even know there was a hurricane, to be honest. I'm not current with that kind of news. I'm only current with Juventus news, of course. Ismail says, Forza Juventus, we need Icardi. Let's go to Icardi for a second. Apparently the deal, or our offer, was a loan and option to buy him, whereas PSG wanted the option plus obligation. So it makes sense on our end why we want the option, the loan plus option, only because it would be a stopgap. He's like the stopgap for this year at striker. He'd come in, play the year, go back to PSG or wherever the hell he's got to go after. do fine. He'd be fine with us. But next year was where we want to address the striker position with a young up-and-coming striker and already solidified striker like a Holland or a Vlahovic. Like I said, Icardi would come in this year, play well, be a stopgap kind of striker. I think he would fit in because he knows the league well. He scores 20-plus goals every time he's in Serie A, and he doesn't need many touches to be effective. He just needs to do his thing, get in the box. If the ball comes to him, he's probably scoring. I know he's hurt right now. He has an AC joint injury in his shoulder, and that happened last week, so he's going to be out 3 weeks. So I don't know if that also has something to do with it. Probably not, but I think the real sticking point to the Icardi deal per se is the option versus the obligation. Again, I want Icardi to come, not only just because he fits the depth striker that we need right now, but I'm here for the chaos. I'm here for whatever happens in the next day. I want it all to happen. Why not? Our chat was discussing today, or we were talking today, and we were going over quantity versus quality. And I'm the proponent of I need players to come in. I don't see any quality currently in our midfield. So a guy like Witsel would upgrade that. A guy, hope maybe out of the blue, a guy like Tchouaméni would definitely help. And a guy like Pjanic would definitely help as well. And I know we were shitting on Pjanic for a while, but it is what it is. It's a panic buy, but he would instantly help in the register role that we currently are lacking right now. Let's go back to the chat for a second. Fenix was hoping for a new midfielder, but it's okay with this team. I'm not expecting anything. Yeah, apparently with the news today, we shouldn't expect anything from DiMarzio. Ryan Saliba says, wait, the market's closed. Won't be. Yeah, I meant tomorrow. I meant we got one more day. So like today's the 30th, tomorrow's the 31st, Ryan. Usman says, love Icardi, but dread Wandanara. So that's his wife and agent. I'm glad it fell through. Again, I haven't seen any problems with his wife when he's been at PSG. I think it was all a ploy from Inter to get him out. I don't know why they wanted to get him out in the first place, but I've not seen a problem or an issue from her in the press or in the background of him at his stay at PSG. I don't think that's a problem. I would take him 100% for this year if that was an option. Del Juve Piero says, I have no doubt Allegri will turn things around, but the situation up front is extremely difficult and will bottleneck our title ambitions. Yeah, no, for sure. We saw the team, the 23 available players from the Juventus Twitter account, and under the forwards, we had two forwards. We had Dybala and Morata. And we started with no forwards. Technically, obviously, Dybala is a forward, but he's not a true striker. We started with no true strikers against Empoli, and we suffered. It was not good. The players that were asked to do what they were supposed to do, did not do what they were supposed to do. McKennie was asked to play as the striker, while Dybala and Chiesa went to the wings when they were in possession, but that never came about. We need more depth at striker. Obviously, apparently, Keane is coming. We saw he had his medical. So that's good added depth, but I think we still needed one more at least because Keane could provide coverage as a winger if we did a 4-3-3. So we still need another striker, even though we got Keane. That's my opinion. Let us know what you think. So the news was about Icardi from Romeo Agresti is no new deals in the making for Icardi. No forward steps have been taken. No assessment today on the Witsel front to be seen if there will be any news in the evening. So if we're looking at the clock now, it is the evening time. So we're just waiting for stuff to trickle in. Again, it's not looking good at the moment. We have some breaking news from Luca Pellegrini is going towards staying at the club. That's from Luca Bianconeri. Our producer just put that in the chat, so go check that out. We'll touch back based on that after. I'm not happy about that, but whatever. So Syed says, why does Allegri want Icardi? We already have Morata, Keane, and Kyle George. So Icardi is just another option, right? If Morata's not doing it for us, we would have a proven striker in Serie A on the bench with Mauro Icardi. I like that he's scored so many goals in Serie A already in his career. It wouldn't be that much of an adjustment. And like I said, he's not a player that fits a style of play per se. He's just a guy that if the ball's near him in the box, he'd most likely scoring. He doesn't need many touches. I've gone on about him in the past. One game against Sampdoria, he had 3 touches in the first half and he scored 2 goals when Inter played Sampdoria one game. And you need that kind of player sometimes. Keane can be used in more ways. He doesn't just have to be a striker. If you watch my coach's corner, it's coming out today or tomorrow. No, probably tomorrow. But my Keane coach's corner, it's going to show you why he doesn't have to play just striker. He can play on either side of the wing as well. He's just as effective. Clement says, why does Juventus loan our new signing boy to Samp? I think he can do great things if we give him a chance in the A team. Okay, so you're talking about Mohamed Ihataren. Oh, man, I think I butchered his name. Ihataren? Yeah. Listen, that guy has all the talent in the world. The new guy we bought from PSV. He was loaned out specifically to gain experience, and because he's had how do I want to put this? He's had off the field issues in terms of mentality and like strength at PSV. So going to Sampdoria will be really testing for him. It's in a good league, Serie A, with Sampdoria. I hope he starts. If he can do stuff with Damsgaard and he helps Sampdoria do good, decent things, then you take a look at him for next year. I don't mind the signing at all, especially for the small amount that we paid for him, and he's a budding talent. But his mentality and his off-the-field game has to improve, or else he's not going anywhere. He's 19 years old, so you got to give him a chance. But let's see what he does at Sampdoria first. I like that play. I saw a report that he might have gone to the under-23s if he came here, and that would have been ridiculous. He's way too good for that. In terms of talent, again, I'm not saying the whole package, because the whole package, he needs a little head check. But we'll see. We'll see how he does at Sampdoria. I'm excited for him. I hope he plays a lot, and I hope he's successful. So going down the chats, Jack Duque says, big love for Medellin, Colombia. What's up, Jack, from Colombia? Good stuff. Ryan Saliba is talking to Clement about Ihataren. Yeah, so he's saying it's just better to watch him. Again, if you've watched him at PSV, you know he's got all the talent in the world as an attacker. But he doesn't. If you read the press or you read the media, you know that he doesn't have the right mental capability right now to be a professional, and that's a little worrisome. But we'll see. Yagvendra Singh says, why aren't we trying for a war? I would love to try for a war. I don't know if the operation will. I don't know what kind of operation. Like Leon said, they're willing to take him on or give him up on a loan at first. I think we should be all over that because, again, our attacking midfielder at this point in time is Weston McKennie. And from what I saw against Empoli, he got taken out after 45 minutes for a reason. I know I've been drilling in that he does score goals as a midfielder, that he does do off-the-ball stuff that's really good. But in terms of final ball quality, where he's meant to be on the pitch, it's just not there yet. He'd be a great squad player, and I've said that. But if we got a guy like Houssem Aouar, he'd instantly be the advanced midfielder in a 4-3-3. And McKennie can come on after if we're winning, or if we actually need a goal and some guy's tired as a midfielder. More in the chat. Sayed says, I think we'll only get a new midfielder, no more forwards. I think we need both, to be honest. I threw out a tweet today saying Witsel, Icardi, and Aouar. And if we got 2 of those 3, I'd be really happy. But realistically, we're not getting any. It's a shame. But I hope Cherubini just pull something out of his hat at the end and in a couple of hours, or the last day at least. Marino123 says, do you think Juventus will attack again on the market next summer after this disappointing window? 100%. Everything is leading towards that right now. Especially if they don't spend anything in the next day, I can see a full launch on Haaland, and if you miss out on Haaland, they will go for Vlahovic. I can see them taking a run at Pogba if he remains a free agent. They got money to burn. I know it wasn't the case in the past couple of years, but definitely next summer they'll have it because of the capital increase and just stuff gradually getting back to normal. I think the main target will be Haaland, and if we miss out on him, it will be Vlahovic. And that's exciting because we know we're going to be in on it. So it's going to be exciting until he leaves Dortmund. You should be excited. Armand, oh sorry, I'm not going to pronounce your last name, but Armand says, I think we need Icardi. He knows the league and can score goals. Morata and Keane, they are not scoring much. Yeah, I think I just said that about Icardi. He knows the league well. Multi 20-goal scorer. Keane's fine. Keane's a good goal scorer. He's young. Keane. He scored 17 goals last year for PSG. I think 19 in total. I mean, he scored 17 league goals. Scored 19 in total, I think. Moise Keane took a very big step last year. He played with some really incredible players, and he played in a lesser league, but he still took an incredible step from the one he did previously at Everton. And I can only see him getting better. He was always disciplined when he was at Juventus. I know the Italian national teams had problems with Keane, but at the end of the day, I think he'll be more comfortable in a situation at Juventus with Italians. I know there's a big racism thing going on, but I think he'll get past that, and I think he'll do well. I think he'll score 10 to 15 goals definitely. We can move on to the next news point, Ale, if you want, but I'll keep reading the comments for now. Usman says, does anyone know why Pjanic deal fell through? Barca was even offering to terminate his contract. He would have been a free transfer. Pjanic experience with Allegri would have been useful at the moment. Not sure exactly what happened there. If Barcelona, we don't know exactly what Barcelona said. If they said they'd terminate his contract, then why wouldn't we? But they didn't terminate his contract yet. If he became a straight up free agent, I'm sure we'd be in on it. But at this point, I think it's obvious to us that he's still contracted to Barcelona. So they'll probably want us to pay some of his salary if he came, even on a dry loan, which is not what we probably want to do. But the market's funny. Stuff can change in a matter of hours. Yeah, so the next news report, Juventus in for Leonardo Paredes, the center midfielder from PSG. For Paredes, Juventus received an opening yesterday from PSG. In my opinion, a midfielder will arrive, and that's from Luca Monblano. That's the percent man. If DiMarzio's saying he doesn't think anybody's coming and Monblano's saying a midfielder will arrive, then I think I'm going to side with DiMarzio, to be honest. We've seen in the past Monblano's history, and yes, he was right about Ronaldo, but he's been very cold ever since. So take that with a pinch of salt. Syed said, Witsel or Pjanic? In terms of dire need, I think Witsel is more needed just because he's so good defensively and so responsible in comparison to Pjanic, where he's not as mobile. He was never mobile to begin with, but he's not as mobile as even what he was before. And there's glaring holes in the back. So we need a guy who's defensively responsible in a midfield position to block or to protect our back line. And I think Witsel is more suited for that role than Pjanic is. Obviously, Pjanic is probably better on the ball, but he's obviously better at free kicks too. But I think Witsel is more needed for what we have currently. Now, saying that, if Witsel did come, I can see him playing in a double pivot with Locatelli in a 4-2-3-1. That would be actually really strong, in my opinion. Really strong. But again, is Witsel coming? At this point, no. Is Pjanic coming? I would say Pjanic is more likely just because of the money situation, but we'll see. Again, we got 1 day left. We'll see what happens. Actually, less than a day because it closes 21 hours from now. We'll see. Anything can happen. It's the transfer window. It's the summer transfer market, so we've seen some crazy shit happen already, and we'll continue. But in terms of this news report, I don't think Paredes is coming. Why would he leave that? He was so happy because Messi just came, his international buddies. He's buddies with Neymar, Di Maria. He's buddies with all those guys, so I don't see him wanting to leave. Especially, I saw someone say Rabiot Paredes swap. I was like, it's like meh for meh at that point. Like, you're not really strengthening your position. Going back in the chat, Andrew Finnan says, only option is to take Icardi now. This is the only way to stay competitive. Yeah. I'm going to scroll down a bit because I need to keep up with these news. So if you really want to get your point across, there is the super chat option, but I'm not forcing you to do it. So Marino says, do you think we can compete with Inter, Milan, Napoli, or Roma with our squad? I definitely think we can compete. It just needs to all click at the same time, just like they're clicking all at once right now. I'm sure with an injury or two for them, they'll get derailed a bit. I'm not worried right now. I'm going to be more worried once the whole squad is together and we know exactly what we have, and Allegri has a couple months with the team. After that, and we're still looking like shit, then I'll be nervous. The Giacometti 8 says, Romano just tweeted Pogba to Juve for 57 mil. No, he didn't. Get the Pogba prop off. Get out of here. Anthony Briganti says, what's up from Toronto, Canada? Fino alla fine. Nice. Oh, Canada. I'm from Stony Creek, so that's cool. Vegeta says, what's up, Justin? I think you were confused before because I'm Julian, and you said in the last live stream we did together that you always thought I was Justin. Nanda says, congrats on the 1,500. Yeah, let's go back to that. So, guys, everyone here, thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you for all the subscribes. It's been a crazy 2 months on the channel. It's grown significantly from 0 to 1,500. And we can't say enough, but thank you to you all for subscribing, commenting, liking, and just being in the Bianconeri Zone community. It means a lot to us. Now, saying that, don't forget to like the video and don't forget to subscribe. Going on to the next news piece, and I'll continue to read in the chat. Morten Lindhardsen says, it's so simple, in quotations. Get Icardi, Witsel, and Damsgaard. Szczesny, and now he puts out the lineup. Szczesny, Sandro, De Ligt, Chiellini, Danilo, Witsel, Locatelli, Dybala, Damsgaard, Icardi, Chiesa. Greetings from Denmark. I can see why you put Damsgaard because you're Danish, so that's fine. I understand why you'd say that. It's a good lineup. Obviously, we probably won't be getting Damsgaard, Witsel, and Icardi all in the next 21 hours, but I like what you're thinking, dude. I like what you're thinking. Usman says, will Juve have difficulty offloading players next summer? Probably, because we have this problem this summer and last summer and the summer before. We can't sell players for shit. I don't know why, because I saw Dan James from Manchester United get sold for 28 million euros to Leeds United today. Blew my mind. I don't understand how that guy got so much money. For whatever reason, we can't sell players, and even if we had a tangible asset like Mary Demirel, we still couldn't sell him. We had to put him on loan. I don't get it. It's a really significant issue we have at the club, as well as trying to bring players in, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes next year. I'm sure we won't be able to sell like we have in the past. Like, remember, we sold Vidal, we sold Pogba. Obviously, those are big names, but we still got top dollar for them. So the news is Juventus still waiting. Cremonese remain in pole position to take Nicolo Fagioli, but Juventus take a few hours to think about it. In terms of these loan players, like Dragusin apparently is going to Copenhagen on loan, and I'm pretty sure Ranocchia went to Vicenza. I think Justin said that today in his news video. All these players are going out on loan. I think it's good. I think they need to go out on loan and not play U23 instead of G. Even Serie B is a step up, obviously, to Serie G. So I think it's good that those players are getting the chance. If Copenhagen did make a European competition, I don't know. They usually do, but I can't remember if they did or not. So it'd be good for Dragusin to get that playing time at least. But yeah, these little loans with our younger players, it's good for them. It's not good for them to stay on the bench and not play and then miss their U23 games if they're just sitting on our bench. It's not good for them to have that happen to them. Arthur's going to be back soon enough. He'll be on the bench. Nicola Fagioli and Ranocchia won't even have chances to be on the bench soon. So it's better to get them out. Give them a chance to go play at a higher level. We can go to the next news point and I'll continue to read. Let me know what you guys think about the loans, the loanies going out, the younger players. Again, if you're a proponent of young players getting their chance to play, I get it. But with the squad players that we have, they wouldn't play anyway. So it's better they go out on loan. So yeah, I touched on it already. Dragusin's still looking for a club. Dragusin's move to Cagliari becomes more complicated. Now the Juventus midfield or defender could move abroad, always on a loan. So it came, like, obviously we had the graphics ready before he was going to go to Copenhagen. So it is what it is. He's probably most likely going there. News from DiMarzio. Juve have made no moves for Pjanic, Witsel, and Icardi, but tomorrow is the last day. Anything can happen still. So it's almost like he's contradicting himself in that sense because he's saying no moves are going to happen, but anything can happen. He probably doesn't even know what the hell is going on. To be honest, I have no idea what this is our first time in a summer market with Cherubini, with Arrivabene. So we have no idea what to expect from them tomorrow. I know Paratici in the past, he came up with some signings late on in the window, and Juventus have made some signings on deadline day. Like I remember Hernandez came in, I think the year Pogba left, they signed Hernandez in the last hour from Lazio or Inter, I forget. And we're like, holy shit, that's pretty good. But then he was like kind of shit that season, but whatever. You're always panic buying at this time of year. Anyway. Scrolling down on the chat. Sorry. Usman says, Leeds United were chasing Dan James for several seasons. They finally managed to get their man after so long. Bielsa, so their manager, is notoriously picky. I don't think that justifies $28 million from him. I think that guy's like a championship-rated player. I don't think he's that good. He's fast. That's it. Jamie Drummer says, we're making so many poor decisions. Morata should have been left back in Madrid, and we should have focused on getting Vlahovic. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Morata's loan costed 10 million euros to like renew the loan. We're never getting Vlahovic for that kind of money. I think it was the right move to bring Morata back in for the 10 million because you can't get a player of Morata's quality for that amount of money. So, and if we didn't get Morata back in, and we didn't have any money for Vlahovic, we'd be sitting with the ball at striker right now. And Keane because he's coming in. But I think it was a very prudent move, to be honest, that we got Morata back in. Nabeen says, next summer, sure, Holland will come to Turin and took transit to Norway. I think he's just excited that Holland could be an opportunity to do that for us. Jean-Pierre Ramos says, what other YouTube channels are of Juventus? I don't know. There's Giuseppe G Just Juve. I don't know many others. So keep it locked here. Jamie Drummer says, no chance we're getting Holland. No way. Man City didn't get their striker this yet. So next summer they're going to move. listen, his release clause is 75 million. As long as we have that money, it's Haaland's choice at the end of the day. If he chooses Man City at that point, sure. But if we have 75 million euros on the table, and we're willing to pay Mino Raiola's stupid agent fee, his commission, then he's going to bring Haaland to Juventus. It's all about just having the 75 million ready for his release clause, and then talking to Raiola and trying to get him here. I think everyone has a shot. Like any team who has 75 mil has a shot. That's what I think, and we're no different. Scrolling down, so the fix was always in. Says not sure about Dragusin on a loan, especially a long one. What do you mean by that? Do you think? I think he's just going for a year, and I think he's going to go to Copenhagen. I think he'll be fine. We still have 4 center backs, and there's always the recall from loan option, unless the other team put a block on that. But I don't see them doing that. Kirk Richards says Dybala is talented, but his playing style hurts Juve. No, I'll disagree. His playing style only hurts Juventus if he is put in a position where he's the main striker. We saw in 2017, and whenever Higuain was here, he played just underneath him, and he was exceptional. That was his best time at Juventus, when he was just underneath Higuain. He was so creative. He scored a lot of goals. If he's the main guy up front, you see what happens against Empoli. He drops back too much. We have no focal point in attack. If he drops, and then when he was the focal point, he lost the ball constantly. He was 1v5 a bunch of times. He needs a guy who's the focal point. He needs to drift underneath. He's a classic, not necessarily a trequartista, because a trequartista is also a midfielder, but he's a support striker. He's that creative guy. He's a number 10. That's what he is. Going on to Juan Martinez Badillo. In my opinion, one of Fagioli or Nokia should have stayed. We've got a couple of injury-prone midfielders, and they would have benefited from training with the big guys. And then he goes on to say, Arthur, Ramsey, and even Rabiot are injury-prone, so we might need a few slots to fill when we're playing every 3 days. That's fair. That's fair. But again, if they don't, what's the best form of training? I think the best form of training is playing in games. And if they're not playing in games, then I don't think they'll progress at the rate we want them to. Again, it's always a risk putting them on loan. It's always a risk putting a player on loan, because they have to fit the right system for that team. Like we saw with, what's his name? He was on Juventus a couple years ago. Hans Nicolucci Caviglia, or whatever his name is. We saw he was a promising player. We put him out on loan, and unfortunately he tore his ACL, but obviously he never fit in with, I forget, we went to Perugia, I think. If you guys know where Hans went, let me know. But yeah, he struggled there. I know he hurt himself, but he still struggled in that environment. So you never know with loans. So I'll agree to disagree with you, Juan, but I would rather them be playing as much as possible. Usman, so we're talking about youth players still. I would love youth players to get more matches, but Juventus demand victory now, exactly, and for tomorrow. We need players ready now. The loan helps our young players to reach the stage much quicker. So take a look at Nicolo Ravella, for example, at Genoa. He's in a losing environment. I get that, and he's on loan, but he's a standout man right now for that team. He's himself is performing very well. Obviously, it's a regret that we don't have him in the squad now, because I think he'd be playing, or he'd be at least he'd be one of the players rotating in. It wouldn't be starting every match, but he'd be on the first team for sure, getting some matches. And that's the kind of guy you'd want in your squad right now. He's probably a couple levels ahead of Fagioli and Ranocchia, and he's doing it on the Serie A stage. So that's the only center midfielder out on loan that I regret. That's out on loan. But yeah, we're Juventus. We want to win now. We can't just say, here's the way. We can't play the Borussia Dortmund game. We can't play let these guys get young and develop, and we can take a third place. It's fine, and do well in the Champions League, blah, 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 and then sell them off. We don't want to do that. We want to win everything as much as we can. Hassan Ahmed Mohammed says Forza Juve. So yeah, Forza Juve. Juan again says, especially considering Ronaldo was a season short of turning homegrown, now he won't. It was silly. Semantics at that point. I know it's a big thing, but again, there's so many players in that position now. Is he actually going to play? Francesco Pescaritz says, Icardi. Yeah, I think we're all like that right now, but it's not looking good, Francesco. It's not looking good. Syed Jamie, he had 32 goal contributions last season. Who did? The fix was always in says, we got rid of Ronaldo, got Locatelli, an excellent deal, and Keane. It's been pretty good deal too. Been very quiet too, I'll admit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that because it brings up somebody. Jamie Drummer says, wow, Camavinga and Mbappe to Real Madrid. Wow. That's probably going to, yeah. Did that just happen? Yeah, that just happened. Apparently Camavinga's going to Real Madrid. They're going to go Galacticos all over again. I don't think he's solving their midfield needs right now because they have Casemiro, Modric, Valverde, and Cruz. So it'll be like the fifth guy in line. But whatever. It's a young prospect. Justin Safaro says, y'all really trying to advertise, go watch someone else instead of us on our channel, Arnold, Jean-Pierre, Jamie. Yeah, if you guys are doing that, get out of here. Go watch them. I don't know what to tell you. Why are you advertising stuff on a different channel? So I just read that Camavinga will be, or Real Madrid made a 30 million euro bid for Camavinga. Man, if that's the case, let's hop on that. Why not? But yeah. James Tonin says, Serie A fan here. I got to say, this is a great show. Up to date on the latest news, great analysis, and great fandom. Keep it up, everyone. Nice. Thanks for that, James. We really appreciate all the love and support we get. It is difficult to try and keep up. Justin says, no, I'm only joking with them. Chill, Julian. Nah, like, honestly, though, why are we doing that, though? You're here, like, you're on this channel. Just stay here and enjoy what we have to say. We see also young players away. Obviously, we said the Ranocchia news. He's going to Vicenza, and then Wesley joins Sion in Switzerland. All right, am I saying that right? Sion. So that's Wesley Gasolina, the Brazilian. So that's one of Mino Raio's clients as well. He finally got another move away. I think he was there last year as well on loan. But whatever, it's fine. He wasn't probably in the plans anyway. Marino says, it's so frustrating to see that clubs are signing top midfielders and Juventus can't even sign Pjanic on loan. Maybe it's the waiting game. Maybe they're just waiting a whole season to save up the money and go for someone big next year. Maybe they go in for Pogba. Maybe they go for the next best thing. Maybe they actually finally put an offer in for Milinkovic-Savic. At this point in time, we don't know what they're exactly doing. I think the Ronaldo sale did throw a wrench in their transfer plans. I think they were totally fine if he stayed, and we just continued with the team that we had. But the money that came from him and the wages saved, it put a whole new spin on the transfer market. And in 5 days, it's hard to do something. It's hard to formulate plans, formulate operations to get new players in. It's hard, but they should have had a plan in place because they probably knew Ronaldo wanted to leave in the first place. Brian says, because there will be no room to play anymore since Messi came to PSG and have Neymar, Mbappe, and some young attackers. Oh, that's probably from Icardi. ROFLMFAO, FTW. Real wants Mbappe, Haaland, and Camavinga. Yeah, they want the new Galacticos. It's pretty obvious. According to like just the money that they had 180 million to spend on Mbappe. Next year they'll get Mbappe for free. they'll have that 180 million to spend, and they'll probably go and try and sign Haaland, of course. They'll probably try and sign Pogba on free. They'll probably try and sign Goretzka on a free, the midfielder from Bayern Munich. And yeah, look out for Galacticos 2.0 because that might be coming. That's a bit scary. Papa Perez, he's gunning. If you haven't already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're just over 1,500 now subscribers, and we're continuing to grow every day. That helps us provide better content and more quality. One of these days, we will have producer Ale come on the show. I know we've been saying that for a while, but he will show his face. In terms of the chat, we're going back to Juan E. Martinez Badillo. He says, according to Football España, Pjanic is closer to Sevilla than Juventus. Weird, because maybe he's only wanted Juventus from the beginning, so I don't know why. I guess for his own playing time's sake that he'll choose to go to Sevilla. But I don't know. He definitely, in his heart, he wants Juventus first and then Sevilla. So, and he said that as much on the Instagram post that he did today. So, RFL says it's sad that Juve has to start over with trash. It's like 2012 all over again. No, we're not. No, we're not 2012 bad. We have very good play. We still have Delit. We still have Chiesa. We still have Dybala. We still have all these great players. We still have all these great players on paper. It's just we need to make it gel, and we need to make it gel fast. We just need to clear some dead wood. It's easier said than done. Let them run down their contracts. Like Bernardeschi's contract is done next year or this year. He'll be gone unless we renew him. Oh my God, hope not. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Francesco Pescariz says, Ryan, that's what I'm saying. Why don't they don't want to sell us Mauro? I think they want the obligation. This is for Mauro Icardi. I think they really want the obligation to buy for us because it'd be guaranteed money for them. And obviously we only want the option because it's like, hey, we kind of want him and we might pay for him. But like, if we're going to go guns blazing for Haaland and Vlahovic next year, we're not getting Icardi back. That's just reality. So they probably want the obligation for us to buy him. And that makes sense. That makes sense on PSG's part because they're basically wasting one of Icardi's prime years on a loan to us, and they're going to get less money when they sell him next year if they want to sell him next year. So they want a guaranteed fee, is what I'm trying to let you guys know. Usman says, if this window is poor, will our January window be much better? Typically, Juventus doesn't do many January deals. It's usually a young, promising player. We sign him, but then he goes back on loan to that team that we signed him from. So, example, Kulusevski, example, Rovella, those kind of deals. We typically never buy an impact player in that window, usually because we have no money at that point in time. But I don't see us making a big splash in January. Number 10, Julian. What if Raiola is going to ask for a crazy commission for Haaland, 40 to 50 million, since there will be a huge competition? Release clause is only 75 mil. Player's worth is 150 mil. So will Juve miss out? That's the thing. But again, if Raiola's commission is 40 or 50 million, no team really wants to pay that anyway. No team wants to just give this big agent money. Juventus can compete, and probably they have the upper hand because Raiola loves working with us for whatever reason. We have a good rapport with him. I don't think he'll be asking for 40 or 50. I know that there's some numbers floated around that's what he wanted. That's crazy. I think you got 15 or 20 for Donnarumma. I think he'll ask for 30, and I think we'll be ready to pay it if that's what comes down to it. Listen, if you don't get a guy like Haaland because of the commission fee, then that is a very poorly run club. Like if you say, yeah, we can meet the release clause, but we're not going to pay your 30 mil demand. I get it. Like you probably don't have enough money to begin with, but if you're saying no to 30 million, just pretend it's part of the transfer fee. Just pretend you're spending 105 mil on Haaland. Just get over it. Pay the guy, pay the agent whatever he wants. Haaland is that good. He's that good of a player. He's that impactful. He scores 40 goals a year apparently. Scores a goal every game for Dortmund. That's the kind of player you need. Timothy Naha says, I believe we're going to have a busy winter mercato. I think I just mentioned that I don't see us having the busiest mercato in the winter. Again, it's not classic or historical Juve to do that. It's going to be a player signed from a team, keeping him on loan on that team, or a Nicholas Bentner kind of forward, like Marco Borriello type of, oh my God, we needed some help. Francesco says, plug back next summer. Oh my God, go join my cousin, Francesco. He's not. Maybe though. You know what? Honestly, he's another Mino Raiola or player or whatever client. It is. I don't know how much money we're gonna have. The capital increase was 400 mil to cover some costs from the Pandy loss. We're gonna have a kind of normal season with fans. I don't know how much money we'll have. We'll see what happens. Again, it's a waiting game. But at this moment in time, I would rather go for Haaland than Pogba. I know it's crazy, but because Pogba will be free, but Haaland's generational, 22 years old. He's incredible. He's just a machine that scores goals, and that's what we just lost. A machine that scores goals, an aging machine that scores goals. But this will be a fresh, prime player that scores goals. Life's Crazy says, is the Paredes Rabiot swap real? I would say no, 100% no. If we think about why Rabiot left PSG in the first place, it was due to playing time, and his mom didn't like the environment. His mom's his manager. She didn't like the environment. PSG didn't like how he acted. It seems to be like Rabiot was enjoying his time at Juventus. Like he has a little disciplinary history, but for the most part, he has been okay as a professional. Paredes, like I said, I don't think he'd leave PSG now because of Di Maria, Icardi, Messi came. They're all boys there, the South American boy club. It just doesn't make sense. In terms of who the better player is or who's more needed, I think Juventus needs Paredes more than PSG needs Rabiot. Yetster, we should go full power on Ndombele. Full power, as in I would take him on loan with an option to buy, because I would like to see how he does first and at a different club. Obviously, at Tottenham so far, he's had a very, very, very tumultuous time. His fitness has been lacking. His on-the-field performance, whenever he's gotten a chance, he's done fine. Like, there's nothing to worry about. But at Lyon, he was something else. Like, he was something else. He was a very good player. That's where I think we were originally linked with him, like a couple of years ago before he went to Tottenham. But yeah, I don't want to put any guaranteed money on him. I'd take him on a loan and with an option to buy, because we don't know what kind of player he is at this point. PTSF9123 says Dybala was crap against Empoli. Yeah, if you go watch the postgame video that Justin and I did, I gave him a 0.5 out of 10 for breathing. He was bad nonetheless. Ryan Saliba says, I hope Keane steps up and has a better season than he had last season with us, where it all sparked his talent. Yeah, so that season, I think it was 2018-2019 season. He was good. He was. I think it was 19, 18. He scored 7 goals in like 17 games. A couple of game winners, even in a row. He scored a couple of game winners. Won us a lot of points. Then was sold for 27.5 mil to Everton. Had a really shit year at Everton. Scored 2 goals in 29 games or something. Then last year he rebounded, played with good players in another good environment, scored 17 or 19 goals that's last season, and he played in multiple positions. He was a last cut for the national team, although he should have definitely made it based on talent. That's political, but whatever. But yeah, I'm expecting more from Keane once he does arrive. I'm going to expect at least 10 to 15 goals, depending on his role. If he is considered as the main focal point in attack, I'm going to expect 15 to 20 at least. If he plays more of a wing position, I don't know how much Allegri will want him to do that, but if he plays more of a wing position, I'm going to expect 10 to 20 or 10 to 15 goals, and to be a creative spark plug. The fix was always in, says people actually writing the season off already. It's an awful start. We need to gel. We have to learn to play as a team again instead of focusing on one like Real Madrid had to. Might dip low at first. Exactly. I think we have a lot of players that have been here before Ronaldo and after Ronaldo. Like they've been here for more than 3 years. Like a bunch of our defenders, like some of our attackers. I think we'll get over that low before Real Madrid ever did. We have more leadership on our team. We have better leadership. Like Chiellini, you saw, he said, "This is not a team." He probably meant yet. He probably sees a way of how this could be actually a team. Again, we'll have to see what happens after tomorrow at 6 p.m. Italy time. But for the most part, we shouldn't worry too much at this stage. Uzman says, Mino Raiola used to be Pavel Nedved's agent. Exactly. We've been doing business with him since the 2000s. Exactly. Like I said, we have a good rapport with him. We've taken on many of his clients. We've sold many of his clients because of his will. A little scary thing is to think about. I don't want to put doom and gloom into Juventus fans right now, but if Haaland and Pogba were to come to Juventus, I can see Raiola saying, yeah, we'll do that, but you have to move De Ligt to somewhere else. That would probably might be one of his trade-offs. And if that's the case, it's a double, it sucks, but it might happen because that's the kind of guy Raiola is. He's all about business. He gets 30 million from the Haaland deal, probably gets another 15 mil from the Pogba deal. And if we sell De Ligt for the 150 million euro release clause next summer, then he gets another payday, and all in one summer. I can see that trade-off happening. I know that's a doom and gloom, pessimistic outlook, but it's him. He's that kind of guy, and I can see it happening. The fix was always in. Says to get Haaland, you'd pay whoever, whatever. 100%, I'm with you. Juan Badillo says, pretty sure we won't be able to compete on wages. I feel like while there's a world war over Haaland, we can sneak in for Vlahovic, which would be nice. Anyway, he's 22 years old. So the thing with Vlahovic is, if I'm Rocco Commisso, the Fiorentina owner, I wait until Haaland is sold before I think about selling Vlahovic. This is also coming after Vlahovic has to have another good season, which he's already on his way to. He already scored on the weekend. So if I'm Commisso, I wait till Haaland is sold, and then I can say, like, listen, you guys are desperate for a striker, come get him. And he'll probably demand 60 mil. So it's not cheap as well. Jacob Faruja says, personally, for me, Axel Witsel is not a bad player if they can bring him in as long as they have a swap deal with Bentancur and either Ramsey. Yeah, Jacob, I would like Witsel, especially if we do a 4-2-3-1 with a double pivot with Locatelli. He's defensively responsible. I've said this, yada, yada, yada. He's responsible. He's very good. He's good on the ball as well. But we're never swapping Bentancur out because we still owe money to Boca Juniors. So I can't swap out Bentancur now. Ramsey, Dortmund's never going to go for Ramsey. So no Premier League team's going to come in for Ramsey at this moment either. He's hurt, of course, already. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for updates on our content coming out. We got some coaches' corners coming up. We got some more league preview games coming up and all that noise. We also have a Serie A preview coming. I don't know when because the international break's here, but we got to wait for our producer to get a camera or for him to get settled. But there's a lot more content coming your way. Keep the comments coming in. I'm trying to get as many as possible. I know it's kind of slow today for me reading it, but we got a lot of stuff going on. Smiley Face says, I can see Pjanic making a comeback, and I ain't complaining because we don't have a register, and we will be in a bad position if we didn't get one in the next hours. Here's the thing. If we play in a two-man midfield, Raiola is... not Raiola, sorry. What's his name? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank here. Sorry. If we play in a two-man midfield, Allegri will not... he won't need Pjanic. We need another defensive midfielder in that area. If we played in a three-man midfield, in a 4-3-3, I trust Arthur in a three-man midfield. I don't trust Arthur in a two-man midfield. If Arthur was the regista there, I wouldn't complain. So we'd have Arthur, Locatelli, I guess McKennie as an attacking midfielder, and a midfield three. Only because Arthur can move the ball sideways and he keeps the ball nice and he doesn't panic. If he gets the ball to Locatelli, beautiful. His job's done. Right? It's all about, because if we bring in Pjanic and we're using a two-man midfield, I don't see Pjanic being useful. I don't understand. I don't know what he's going to do yet. I don't know what Allegri's going to do yet. We'll see what happens. If Pjanic comes in and he's the guy who's replacing Arthur in midfield, it's not like I'd rather have some youthful legs in there. I know Arthur's injury prone, but he's still a youthful player. He's still 25, compared to Pjanic, who's 32, I think now, or something like that. So I don't know if it's a panic buy. I guess we'll take it. But again, I think Arthur in a three-man midfield would be better off being used as the regista. PTSF 91 whatever. Pjanic is finished. No more big wages. Oh, I was going to say that. Yeah. So we got a super chat. Morton says, "What's the story with your producer?" Okay. So the story with our producer is he is Alejandro Fancello. He's the guy who runs the show here. Basically, he has all the nice graphics up. He has everything ready to go. He studied this in school. I think he's done now. I forget. But yeah, he runs the Bianconeri Zone Twitter accounts, Instagram pages, Facebook, whatever, and he runs the YouTube account. I was brought onto the show to do coaching, like tactical stuff, and Justin is the face of the show of the YouTube channel, bringing you daily news content and having always a chipper attitude. But yeah, Ale will be our producer. Ale will be coming on the show eventually. You'll be able to see his face. You'll be able to hear him. He is from Belgium, but he is Italian, so he has an undying love for Juventus, just like all of us, and we're hoping to get him on as soon as possible. The fix is always in. Definitely. Oh, sorry. He's answering someone else. Comedian says Icardi and Witsel, and I would be very happy. Yeah, 100%. Me too. I think I said, I don't know if you're here at the beginning of the show, but I said two of Witsel, Icardi, and Awar from Lyon, and I'd be really happy. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but we'll see. We got 69 people in the chat today watching the stream. Nice. Brian Saliba says, I think if we don't have that much defensive midfield, it would be better to use this formation, a 4-1-4-1 in possession, and when defending, and use this formation 4-3-3 to attack. So I think that's kind of the idea right now. Like Chiesa, one of the preseason games, he used Bernardeschi and Chiesa on the wings, and he kind of did that. He kind of made in attack, they went forward and became a 3 in attack, but in defense, they dropped back and became midfielders. Regardless, that's the fluidity of soccer anyway, of football. You should transition into as a team in defensive shape anyway. You shouldn't. If you're Messi, you should still do it. If you're Ronaldo, you should still do it. I know coaches don't want them to have that burden, but if you expect Chiesa to do it, you should expect Ronaldo to do it. Or Messi. Doesn't matter. But everyone knows that Allegri's style is everyone has to come back and defend in some shape or form. You saw, unfortunately, on this weekend, you saw Chiesa come back to the goal line, which is definitely not what was required. And you saw Dybala come back in front of us 18-yard box, and then we had nobody to pass it forward to. So that's a little extreme, obviously. I think the Empoli game was just everyone was out of sorts. They didn't know what they were exactly doing. Justin Saforo says, he's answering Morton. He's mysterious, a shadow producer. Will the world ever see him? No one knows. And then Morton laughed. Yeah, you will eventually see him. Smiley face. The thing with Allegri, he is always starting the season trying so many formations, and we won't see the full formation until round 4 or 5. So what kind of bugged me this past weekend was he mentioned that he knew his 11 that were going to play against Napoli already. So a couple of things bothered me. One, he was already overlooking the Empoli game and already looking towards the Napoli game. And 2, he's okay with the squad that he currently has. That's a little frustrating to me. It was a little frustrating hearing that in the press conference. But he's a guy that's stubborn. He knows what he wants to do, and he's been successful, so I can't really blame him yet. Obviously, it's been 2 games. Let's hold our horses. Let's see what he has to do. Let's see what he has to offer for the rest of the year. I think even if we don't win a trophy this year, I think he's still in for next year. I think management realizes the task he has at his hands, and I'll give him another chance next year if we go trophyless. I'm going to knock on wood. So we got about 10 minutes left, guys. Get as many comments and questions as possible, and I'll try and answer them. Justin Soforo says, I'm less the face and more the ass at the end of it all. Yeah, Juan says, wouldn't mind Pjanic for 2 seasons, this season as a starter since we have no Regista, and bring in Ravella as understudy and eventually sub in like Sandro did forever a few years ago. Yeah, again, if we get Witsel, I don't want Pjanic at all. And I think if Witsel was a player that was coming in, I think that Allegri will change the formation completely anyway. So I don't think we'll need a Regista, but we'll see. Jacob Faruja says, if we really need a defensive midfielder, we should propose a loan deal for Marcus Llorente and split the wages with I think Marcus Llorente is one of their key players. I don't think they'll let him go, especially just for a loan to start, and we'll pay half his. I don't think they're keen on doing that at all. That's like us saying, that's like Atletico coming to say, let's loan De Ligt for a season, and we'll pay half his wages. I don't see that happening at all. Marcus Llorente is a damn good player. He's a utility player, very versatile. I would love to have him in the team, obviously, but good player, but again, I can't see that happening. Lincoln Graham says, sorry, I missed one. The fix was always in. Awar should have been sorted since he was available on loan. Yeah, 100%. Ever since his name was mentioned, we should be inquiring at the very least, inquiring on Awar. Now, his name always eludes me. What's his name? Leon's president. Aulas, Aulas. If Aulas doesn't want to do business with us because of what happened with the Super League and whatnot, that's his prerogative, obviously. But we should be all in on Awar, especially on a loan with an option. Lincoln Graham says, remember when we had Joao Cancelo and Leonardo Spinazzola in the same season? Juventus management, cover head face, whatever. It's a little bit, I get it. But Spinazzola's injury prone. I understand the kind of player he could be when fully fit. He's exceptional at going forward. He's pretty good at defending as well. So I get it. But he's always injured. In terms of Cancelo, the guy couldn't defend if his life depended on it. He cost a lot of not a lot, but he costed a couple of games for us, and the Lakers like just screw it, whatever. And Danilo, for what the deal was, we got a lot of money for Cancelo, as well as a very solid squad player in Danilo. Like, there's nothing wrong with Danilo. Ryan Saliba, yes, exactly. I'm into these kind of football tactics thanks to assistant manager role that I have on playing FIFA. Yeah, FIFA is great for doing crazy things. Like, especially when you do manager mode and you can do your custom tactics and all that noise. I always get my buddy, he always tells me, yeah, I'm playing a 2-6-2 or something, some weird formation. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Just make it realistic at least. But whatever. Yeah, FIFA's a good time. Antonio I says, what's the news with Juve putting Kulu on the market? I don't know how true that was. Again, lots of rumors circling around, especially in the last couple of days. I really hope they didn't put him on the market. But apparently Bayern Munich requested him at the beginning of the transfer window, and we said no. So I don't know what the deal is, if he was put on the market or not, but I don't think he was. I hope he wasn't. PTSF says Nedved should be fired, responsible for all the mess recent years. Like, no. Come on. Uzman says, should we get Pirlo back as youth coach or even as assistant coach? I think he's past that right now. I think he's kind of, I don't know if he would be butthurt per se from the situation that happened to him. But for sure, I would like them as youth coach and bring him back for what he was meant to be and meant to do. Yetster says we need Ndombele or Renato Sanchez. Yeah, that'd be nice. I think Sanchez is hurt right now. I think he damages meniscus or something. I'm not sure. You have to look on transfer market to figure that one out. Smiley face says Danilo is a gem discovered by Pirlo. He wasn't discovered because he's been on a lot of top teams. He's been on Real Madrid, Manchester City, Porto. He's always been a good, decent squad player for every team he's been on. So, yeah, moving on. Jacob Faruja says, I tried to think of the first player that popped into my head when you said defensive midfielder, but I totally agree with you. It's one of the key. Yeah, they're talking about Marcus Alonso. Or Llorente, not Marcus Alonso. Marcus Alonso. Oh my God, it's Chelsea. Marcus Llorente, yeah, he's. I think he's too important for that team for us to get him on loan. Let's go to Marco Manuel. Tell us honestly which place Juventus you think will be. Okay, so what place they'll finish the season based on this squad? Top 4 ? Obviously, the first 2 games haven't gone well, but I think they'll finish top 4 still. I think a lot of other squads are too thin to fully compete through 38 games in a season on multiple fronts as well. Like Roma still has to play the Conference League. Milan's playing in the Champions League as well. Who knows how long they'll be good for. They're also losing Benacer and what's his name? Kessié for the African Cup of Nations in January. Inter will be fine. They'll be strong until the end again. Well, depending on how far they go in Champions League, actually, because they might actually progress to their group this time. They have a kind of a crap group. I think they'll make top 4. Juventus. I predicted they'd be first last when I did my preview or my predictions for the preview show, but yeah, it is what it is. I think they'll be top 4 though. Uzman says Pirlo has the markings of a great coach. He needs to be more of a actual hard guy, a hardball guy, than a friend, especially with big egos on the team. I think that's what happened last year in terms of being too buddy-buddy with Ronaldo, too buddy-buddy with all the good, like Chiellini and like Bonucci. So we'll see if he can adapt from what his mistakes were in his first season as a coach, as a professional coach. Ryan Saliba says, the goal is to win the Scudetto, but realistic aim is probably top 4. Exactly. We are second match day, and we have 36 games left. We're at the very beginning. We'll see in December to see how it will go. I think if we drop too many points before December, it could be already done. It's scary because we got Milan and Napoli coming up and a Champions League game. Sorry, Napoli, Champions League game, Milan. We drop more points there. It's not looking good already. Dropping points to direct rivals is never good. Simple math tells me that if we lose to Milan in our 4th match day, we're already 8 points down to them after 4 games. And that's not good. It's not good enough as a team, as a club of our stature, to be 8 points already down to a team like Milan, who have, on paper, a worse squad than we do. So we'll see what happens. Like people have been saying, it's really early in the season. We got time. It's not doom and gloom yet. It's looking bleak right now, but it's not doom and gloom yet. We'll go 2 more questions, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Morton says, if, and that is a big if, we only become 5th in Scudetto or in the Serie A, would Allegri survive? It's early, but Roma, Inter, Lazio scare me. I think he's going to be, I think I mentioned this, I think Allegri's fine for the season. I think he'll be the coach for next year because, again, if we have 5 coaches in 5 years, that's too much. And we signed Allegri to a 4-year contract as well, making $7 to $9 million a year. So we'd have to pay him out still. And I don't think we're in a position to keep doing that. 5th is a total disaster. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think Allegri survives until next year season at least. In terms of those teams, again, they're scary right now only because it's been 2 games and there's no international players, no Coppa Italia. We have to check out their squad depth. Like a team like Roma, they don't have the squad depth. They have nice players. They have a pretty good coach who knows the league. But at the end of the day, we'll see if they even try in the Conference League, to be honest. That's the 3rd tier of European competition. So we'll see if they try for that. If they don't try for that and they try to just go guns out for a top 4, then we might be in trouble there because it's good. Lazio, they don't scare me. Again, squad depth. If one of their players gets hurt, like if Alberto, Milinkovic-Savic, or Immobile get hurt, their season's toast, especially if they're out for a long time. They just don't have the squad depth. And Maurizio Sarri usually fumbles the bag, except for with us that 1 year. So yeah, Inter is going to be Inter. They look really strong, and they were strong last year. Obviously, they had a good summer for what happened to them. They lost a lot of good players, but they replenished with some very good players. And they still have their 3-headed monster at the back. They still have Bastoni, De Vrij, and Skriniar. So it'll be tough. It's an open championship this year. It's good to see for Italian soccer. But I do think at the end of the day, we will finish in the top 4. I'll do the last question here from Syed. He says, why is no one talking about the Champions League? Thoughts on the draw versus Chelsea? So we actually did a whole Champions League live show. It was Thursday when the draw came out, and then we had a little bit of reactions on Friday as well. Malmo should be 6 points, easy. Sorry, I'm going to knock on wood. Malmo should be 6 points. I said Empoli should have been 3 points, but Malmo should be 6 points. Zenit should be at least 4 minimum. That puts you at 10 points, and that should get you through to the the knockout phase, which is where anything goes at that point. Against Chelsea, you get an opportunity to prove yourself, and at that point, you see where you are, especially in the group stage. If you lose, it's fine. But it's a chance to prove yourselves. Looking at Chelsea now, they look strong. They look defensively very strong. But again, I'm not particularly scared of them in an attacking sense. The only guys who scare me are the guys in midfield who can dick around our midfield, like Mount, like Havertz, like Jorginho, or Kovacic. I know people are going to say Conte, but Conte is strictly like the guy who's defensively responsible. He's not going to pass the ball around us and get and score goals. But those four guys are very good on the ball. They've had some seasoning together already, and again, like Lukaku, I think Chiellini will eat him up, no problem, as he always does. And their fullbacks, Reece James and Ben Chilwell, okay. They don't do much for me. I think Chiesa can cook on that side, no matter where he is. It's just I'm scared of Rudiger because he's an absolute lunatic. But that's it. So again, I expect to progress through the Champions League, but as always, it's hard. It's the hardest competition to win outside of international football. So we'll see. I like our chances to get out of the group. At that point, it is what it is. We've lost 3 years in a row to inferior competition. So let's go in confident for once. But yeah, okay. So it is 12 o'clock in Europe somewhere. It is 6 p.m. here. We are going to wrap up today's live show. Tomorrow is deadline day. I'm sure there's going to be lots of stuff swinging about. Follow our account at bianconerizone on Twitter for all the latest updates. Our producer's always on the ball. He's always right up to date, instant reactions on Twitter. Follow Justin Soforo, who's my co-host, who couldn't be here today. It's at Justin Soforo. Follow me at Gennady151. We'd like to react on everything that's happening, even not regarding Juventus. But tomorrow's going to be a busy day. We'll see what happens. Thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to finally like the video, subscribe to the channel, continue to grow our 1500, and press the bell icon so you can stay up to date with all of our new content.